do a walk cycle that I really like,
Yeah.
and I have a character that's referenced, I can reference in a different character. And as long as his controls are named the same, all that animation will apply to it. We do that a lot on games, where we'll have one character, we'll animate it so it looks good, and then apply that to a bunch of characters.
So with the script editor?
No, it just worked with mine. So it looks like I've got a drift and a split right here too, so I'm going to fix that. Flatten that. So at this point, I can see his footwork pretty much. Right? And the trick is, at this point, you want to make sure that you're only moving 1 foot at a time. I haven't lifted him off the ground yet. I haven't shifted his weight yet, any of that stuff. I haven't hit it yet. This is just a rough placement, right? Rough blocking. If it looks good here, keep going. If it's wrong here, fix it before you move forward. Because if this is wrong, the rest of it's going to look stupid. Right? Alright, so what I can do now is I can go in and I can add my foot movement, right? So in between here, like usually in the middle of these 2 keys, right? So that's one position, that's the other position. Right in here, I'm going to put my passive position for this foot. So I can lift it up and kind of bend it down. And I've got some toe bend, I can put a little bit of flex on that, right? Sometimes it might be good to, you can go back and, depending on how cartoony you want this to look or how hidden or cartoony, you can let it kind of slap down. So you see how I'm like bending it back the other way, right? So he lifts it, it's like that, and then it slaps it down. And then I'll do the same thing here. Lift it up. Down. You can even actually let the toe lag behind a little bit on that one. Yeah. Bend the toe a little bit. And then here maybe you just slide the foot up. And then I'll do this foot. So here he's going to lift it up. Let that toe lag behind a little bit. So the toe becomes almost like your tail was on your ball, right? Where it's pointing back to where it was. And then here I'll do the same thing. Lift it. Take it down. Toe bend in there. So if I just look at the feet, that's pretty much done, right? I'm pretty much done with the footwork. Any questions about what I did with the feet? No? Alright, so what I need to do with the upper body is fix it, because right here, he would totally fall that way, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and any place where both feet are on the ground, I'm going to adjust it so that he looks comfortable. So you need to pay attention. I want to make sure he's nice and balanced when both feet are on the ground. So I'm going to just set some keys for the poses where both feet are on the ground. And make sure that he's over his body weight. So like right here, he'd fall right on his butt, right? So I'm going to move him this way, get him over both feet. That was decent. Here, both feet are on the ground. Try to shift them up this way, back this way, balance. And there, both feet are on the ground. He's pretty balanced already. Like that. And then there, both feet are on the ground. So I'm going to set a key there. All right. Any questions about what I did there? Now he's still off balance when he lifts his foot up, but I know that when both of his feet are on the ground, he's balanced. So I've got like corner pins, right? So I can fix that pose in the middle, right? So what I need to do is in the middle here where he's over 1 foot, or should be over 1 foot, I'm going to actually move him over that foot and move him up. So you want this leg to be straight, not perfectly straight, where he breaks his knee, but kind of straight. And if you're having a hard time posing like this, you can press plus or minus, it'll make your manipulators larger or smaller. So that's like not that much detail, but if you make this bigger, right, you can move it in much easier increments. Right? So you can make it a bigger, smaller, plus or minus. So I want this to go about as straight as I can. And then here he's over 1 foot, or should be, so I'm going to get his body weight over this one, over this leg, this way. Right, that's probably good. And then here he should be over this leg. Up a little bit. I'm not worried about his head that's spinning around like an exorcist yet. Here he's over 1 foot, or should be this way. This way. That's pretty good, I think. And then here is going to be kind of shifted over this foot a little bit more. Alright, so this is what we've got. So all I have to do now are the hips, right? And the lower body's done. So I've got his hips. So the trick with the hips is that when both feet are on the ground, they're going to be kind of, in the middle. So I'm going to go through it where both feet are on the ground, key to hips. So there, there. About there is good, I think. There. There. So the trick is now, in the middle, if this foot is in the air, I need to rotate his hips this way. Right, so any place I'm in the middle where 1 foot's in the air, I'm going to rotate his hips. Here, I'm going to rotate this up like that. Like that. Rotate this up just a little bit. Alright. So a good way to check this is to turn off the render thing on your layers over here, right? So I can actually select this mesh, right? And then I can select some faces on the legs, right? And grow the selection. If you hold shift and you press the greater than sign, it'll expand your selection. I can just have that part. And then I can do isolate select. It'll just show me his lower legs. Right? That's pretty much done from the waist down. And like I said, everything is connected, right? So you've got your hips and your shoulders, your spine's in the middle. Your hips and your shoulders are usually doing the opposite, and your arms and your legs are usually doing the opposite. So because this works from here down, right, where his legs are, we already know what all this in here is going to do, because we've got this. If this sucks, this is going to suck, right? If this is right, then you have no reason to not get this upper part. You know what I mean? Any questions about what we did so far? No? Yes? No? Maybe? No? Awesome. All right. So the next step is to get the upper body doing what it needs to do. Now, in the case of a turn, it's a little tricky because you don't want it to look like RoboCop. Anybody ever see RoboCop? When he turns, he's all like, yeah, he's like head and torso and body, right? Your loss. It's kind of like that. It is kind of like that because if somebody calls your name, right? You hear your name, right, in your ear, and you think, oh, they're calling me. And you look with your eyes, and then your head, and then your torso, and then the rest of your body, right? So if you think of it like RoboCop, right? Where he turns, right? That kind of gives you an idea of how you should animate it, but you don't want it to look like RoboCop where it's all stiff. You know what I mean? So I'm going to turn off this isolate select so I've got his body back. I'm going to let his head lead the turn and his eyes. So let me put his eyes here. Get it dripped out of there. So his head's going to actually start to lead the turn. So I know by frame, probably by frame like 70, I want to have his head all the way around. That's creepy because it's real like leather, right? You don't want that. You don't want that. Fix his eyes too. Right about there, they're going to start to. So when you turn your head, you're going to want to kind of cushion it a little bit, right? So rather than like a linear, like I am turning my head like a beacon, right? We don't want to let it dip a little bit, so you get nice arcs and stuff. Right? So I'm going to do that with this guy. I've got this weird drift in his head. I got to get rid of that. Flatten those tangents. So here, instead of just letting it go linear like that, I'm going to bend it down like this. Right? Awesome. Now the other thing I'm going to do is I want to put, actually, I'll say that at the end. I want to get his torso turning faster too. So the head starts to go by like frame 25, it starts to move. I'm going to key the torso here and get rid of this key on frame 30 so that the torso will start to turn before the rest of the body. By frame 90, this will be all the way around. By here, right? Alright, so I've got the turning part the way I want it. Got to go in and get the shoulders moving opposite the hips. Now you notice I didn't do anything to the arms yet, because they're going to get some movement from the shoulders. Whereas with the legs, I did the feet first and then I did the hips. That's IK, right? So no matter what I do to the feet, the body's going to move a little bit. The arms are set to FK, forward kinematics, which is whatever moves here, it's going to move everything else down the chain, right? That's why I'm doing this slightly reverse order from what I did the hips and the legs. So what I want to do is go in and find the spots where my hips are rotated and kind of do the opposite with my shoulders. So I'm going to dip this one a little bit here. And then here it's going to be kind of back this way a little bit. Not a lot, like I don't want that, right? I don't want that. Get this a little bit here. And here's this way a little bit. Save that. Hey, look at me. What? Hey, how's it going? So that's basically the timing. So once I have that, now I have to do the arms, right? So your arms are basically just big strings of meat that just hang next to your sides, right? So when you're turning, they're basically just, I mean, you don't want to do like Ace Ventura with the darts, right? Like we're doing this when you turn. But you want to have, they're going to kind of just move and kind of flow with the rest of the body, right? So as you're turning, all this is going to kind of lag behind. So think of the overlapping action with the tail on the ball, right? You do the same thing with your arm. So when this shoulder goes back this way, right? It's going to trail the rest of this behind. So your arm's going to trail behind, right? All the way down the chain of your arm. So let me get that going. Let me do this inner arm. Maybe I'll frame like 24 off of that. So there, you're gonna look at the hand, right? See where the hand goes. And you want to try to make the hand stay where it was. If that makes sense. So there, I'm going to let this trail behind a little bit. And then here's going to go back a little bit. So I just did the upper arm. I didn't do the elbow or the wrist yet. So that was pretty good. Let me do this other arm too. So I'm going to let this kind of land there. Scratch my butt or something. So here, actually, this is going to kind of come forward a little bit, this arm. So you want them to kind of do the opposite of what the legs are doing.
Do you normally use video reference when you're animating?
I don't. I do have friends that do all the time. But it seems to be more of a hassle than it's worth sometimes.
Yeah.
But I've been doing this for a while too, so I'm kind of used to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You guys have been doing this for like 13, 14 years. You'll be able to bust these out in 10 minutes. Alright, so that's the upper arm. Now I got to get the rest of the arm working. So once I get the upper arm, then I can do the lower arm. If the upper arm doesn't work right, the rest of the arm isn't going to work. It's the same as that tree thing, right? You climb up the tree, right? You're at the trunk. Before you can get to the end of the branches, which would be the fingers and stuff, right? Before you can get way out here, you got to deal with all this stuff, right? And you know it's important because if I make a cut right here, all this stuff's going to fall off, right? So that's another good way to think about it, is you can't go forward until you get all this worked out. So let me get the elbows working. Save that. I'm going to turn this. Get these elbows working. Basically, you want to move the arm so that it lags correctly. So it's going to kind of go straight for a bit. And then it's going to bend. So when the arm comes forward, it's going to want to straighten out. If it goes backward, that's when it's going to kind of bend. Once you have that point B light, which you don't really yet, because that was you should probably come out more like that. Straight, which is once you have the elbow do what you want, which I kind of do, it's a little wonky from there, it's a little weird, but it's alright. Then you can do the wrists. This is like the last little knuckle on your tail you did on the ball. They're just going to kind of just lag behind. So that's moving forward. It's going to kind of bend backward like this. And then here's going to come forward. Alright, so let me get the elbow and the wrist first. Straight there. Alright, so let me get this hand. Back that back. Basically just, physics stuff at this point. So if this is spinning this way, it's actually kind of spin out. Alright, so that's basically it. That arm is really keeping me on. This one's like straight. Alright, so I think that's decent for how I spent on it. Any questions about what we did or why?
One question I have is in the graph editor, which it's the flat that you use?
It depends on what you're doing. So in between where the where it was like drifting a little bit on the feet,
Right.
you could flatten the tangents and that'll fix it, but that's also going to flatten your out, right? So what'll happen is when it comes out of that pose, it goes going to slowly come out of it.
Right.
If you don't want to affect that, you can make those tangents linear and it'll still flatten in the middle, but it'll come out of that pose fast.
Right.
So you can use linear, you can use flat tangents. Any other questions? Did everybody get what we did with the whole like blocking out the torso, getting the foot movement right? Yeah? Awesome. Alright, the rest of the class is lab, which gives you 2 hours to do what I just did in about 25 minutes, right? Does that work out?
Yeah.
Not that you have to finish it. This one's bouncing balls. Not that you have to finish it in lab, but you should try to get as much of it done during lab as possible so that if you've got questions, I can help you out, right? It's a lot easier than, you know, when you get home or wherever you're going to go after this to try to remember what you did and all that stuff, you know what I mean? So try to do as much of it as you can in lab, and then you got no homework in here, which would be awesome. This concludes the lecture portion of the course.